What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is NFL Week 4, and this is the Fanduel First Look lineup. All right, guys, welcome back. It's NFL Week 4. And as always, it is Tuesday, early in the week. We like to take a look at the salary structure for the FanDuel Daily Fantasy Contest for the week and come up with some interesting potential lineup approaches. Now, I got a couple things to go over here. Even before we go through the game tiles, one of the things I addressed last week on the show, one of the live commenters asked, how I was asking about the bankroll and how I grew my bankroll and how I recommend growing a bankroll. And this past week is a pretty good week for me, but I wanted to very specifically show the type of contest that I suggest entering if you want to build a bankroll. And if you could take a look here on screen, not sure if you could see it, but this is a handcrafted lineup. I think I made 2 or 3 handcrafted lineups this week. The rest were mass multi-entry in the I believe it was actually the Millie Maker contest. But this was one of my only handcrafted lineups. And as you can see, it's $65 entry, second out of 87 entrants in the NFL touchdown 2 entry max. And what I talked about was most people on FanDuel and DraftKings are chasing the Millie Maker, chasing a winning lineup first out of 100,000, 200,000. It's really hard to do that. But it's not that hard to beat out 70, 80, 90 people, 100, 150 people for first place. And as you can see, this lineup took second place in the touchdown 2 entry max and 8th place in the championship qualifier. Ooh, that's the one I really wanted, guys. I really wanted that. And we will continue to attack that all throughout the season. I'll show you the lineup real quick. This was pretty much my core for the week. So, last week on FanDuel, of course, Alexander Madison was the easiest play I think I've ever seen. I went 100% all in on him as soon as we found out that Dalvin Cook was out. One of the beautiful things on FanDuel is the crowd is not very sharp at all. And I could prove this to you by showing you that Alexander Madison, who should have been 100% owned, was only 19% owned in the Sunday Million. That's how soft the competition is on FanDuel compared to DraftKings. Totally different world. So I love this site for that reason, because your opponents just aren't that good at fantasy football. It doesn't appeal to pros as much. Of course, Saquon Barkley was also a pretty easy all-in play. I had 80% exposure to him. You get the starting running back. They sat Devontae Booker. That was easy. And the rest of this is just players that I was all over for the week. Mike Williams, of course, Jefferson, Metcalf stack with Russell Wilson. So we got a game stack built up over here. And Eckler just threw in the best tight end on the board. My favorite running back play outside of these 2 bargains was Austin Eckler. Easy lineup, slapped together. If Russell Wilson doesn't really disappoint here, this was an easy, a comfortable first place takedown and potentially something that could have taken down the live final championship. So just wanted to show a little bit of an example in action of what I talked about last week. Focus on contests without 10,000, 100,000, 500,000 entrants. Focus on contests with 70 entrants, 150. Focus on a contest that you can actually win. Unless you don't give a shit and this is all about lotto tickets, in which case do whatever the hell you want. Have fun with it. All right, guys, let's take a look at NFL Week 4 and a quick glance, as always, on the DFS Army Domination Station Optimizer. These are the game tiles, and they are set up in a beautiful pattern where we can actually just look at the green and know green is good, yellow not good, red bad, right? We want high-scoring games for the most part. So just running through some of these games, a couple of ones that stand out here. Panthers Cowboys. Looking good. The Cowboys defense has been a little bit better than advertised. I don't think they're as terrible as people say. So a little buyer beware there, but I really like this game. I love me some Chuba Hubbard from the Panthers, priced down, especially on FanDuel here. We're going to take a look at him a little bit. Cowboys looking pretty good as well. Offensively, we can go right back to their pass catchers and, we can go right back to those Cowboys pass catchers. Zeke Elliott, big game. I don't know if that's going to continue. This one, I don't know. It's really interesting. Cleveland's a pretty good defense, but man, 53-point total, close spread. We're going to have to pay attention to this game a little bit more. Didn't stand out to me personally as I was just first glancing over the slate, but I am seeing the massive, massive game total and the close spread, and that's what we're really looking for in these games. So we got to pay attention to that. Here we've got some interesting spots to play a defense like Buffalo. Sometimes Josh Allen just destroys opponents that don't actually score back. So always going to pay attention to Josh Allen, of course. This is a gross game. Stay away from everybody. This is a gross game. Pretty much stay away from everybody, although I have a slight inkling of interest here in Montgomery, but man, did Justin Fields look bad. He let me down. We're going to go back to him, but he let me down. He let me down big last week, but we go back to him here, but he let me down. But we'll go back, but we let me down. No confidence in Justin Fields. I don't even know if it's going to be Justin Fields. They might play Big Dick Nick over there. They might have lost confidence. Man, he looked bad. Another exciting game, KC Eagles. Eagles offense looked just okay, but explosive offenses. I'm interested in this game. San Francisco, Seattle, 52-point total, close spread. Of course, interested there. Cardinals, Rams. These Rams games, sneaky good defense. So maybe this isn't, we have to think about Kyler Murray here and what we want to do. I have to think about it. Then the Tennessee Jets, and Jets are terrible. Tennessee defense in play. But of course, Derrick Henry smash spot against a very soft Jets defense. So definitely some interesting spots to target here. I like the Packers to defense to destroy the Steelers as well. So I'm just kind of looking over where are the rookies. We got Bills defense against this rookie. We've got Titans defense against this rookie. Where are the other terrible rookies? Oh, Washington. I didn't even think about this one, but I like this Washington side of this Washington Falcons game. Tyler Heineke, my boy. Can go right back to Terry McLaurin, T. McClizzles, and even Gibson, whose price has been coming down. So now that we've got a little bit of an overview of some of the games to target, let's get into it. We'll start at the quarterback position and just go through these possibilities. Of course, Mahomes, always at the top, there's always good spots. Pat Mahomes, sure. Josh Allen, why not? Highest team total on the slate right here. Kyler Murray, a little riskier against the Rams, but he's still Kyler Murray. I'm not probably going to be super excited about Lamar Jackson at Denver, low total game. Feels like a stinker. Jalen Hurts, big disappointment this past week, but you can run on KC, so I go right back to him. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Even on a bad week, 22 points, fine by me. Stafford, very interesting against Arizona. I definitely like the Rams side of this game. Stafford almost led me to a championship in that lineup. You saw some of my lineups here that were going really strong as well. Actually, my Fanduel, I think, my DraftKings lineup, he did really well. Wish I played him here on Fanduel last week. Dak, we can go right back to as well. I mean, there's a lot of really good plays at quarterback. I'm usually going to build a team around the quarterback. We can go all the way down to a Taylor Heineke. I think Taylor Heineke's in a good spot. He has had good games, by the way. No one likes to play him, but 22, 21, he's been fine. Totally fine. See if there's anybody really down low that we're interested in. No. Yeah, so we're not going to super punt. Look at Justin Fields. The price went down. The price actually went down. But nonetheless, we're not going to super punt, I don't think, on this slate. Probably going to have to play one of the better quarterbacks. So let's see what the rest of the slate brings us, and we'll let it dictate our quarterback. At running back, of course, Derrick Henry against the Jets. I mean, it's hard not to auto smash the lock button. I don't like Najee Harris as much against the Bears. Dalvin Cook still hurt. We got to see what's up with him, but I don't like him against Cleveland anyway. Camara, not really a FanDuel guy for me, more of a DraftKings guy. I'm going to have some interest in Montgomery here, but if Chicago's offense is so terrible, they can't get their shit together. Again, it's not a guy that I'm super excited to play. Go down. Madison, we can go right back to him if he starts. So let's keep an eye. I have a feeling that Dalvin Cook will be back, though, so I don't want to count on that. Keep working our way down. And first up, we've got Jonathan Taylor. Man, oh, how the mighty hath fallen once again. Not a ton of volume last week at Tennessee. Tough game for the Colts, but hopefully their offense will be a little bit more on point. 6,600 is just mega cheap for him. We've got to keep him in mind. Chuba Hubbard is the first guy, though, that pops out to me. If he's going to get a full workload for the Panthers, I like the cheap running backs when I can get them, and I'm kind of going to plug him in here as a salary saver. That's not Chuba. I'm going to plug him in as a salary saver. The other guy that is of interest here is Trey Sermon. I'm going to plug him in to the flex. Again, if Trey is going to be getting all the touches, why not? The game flow went against Trey Sermon last week for the most part because the 49ers were down big early and they had to come back. But, there's no – I don't definitely think that will happen again here. It's a close matchup, close score. If Darrell Henderson is out again, Sony Michel will be very interesting for me. And down here, there's some interesting salary savers. Again, Tony Pollard has had some good weeks. Jamal Williams seems to pop more often than not, even though I don't like those type of thin plays on FanDuel. I like heavy volume running backs on FanDuel. What's up, Larry? Good to have you here, my man. So next up, let's take a look at the defense. And I know it seems a little backwards, but this is how I build my lineups. I always start with the cheapest viable defense. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. FanDuel's usually pretty good about repricing defenses where they belong to be. So let's see if we can find a nice low-cost defense in a good spot. Atlanta, Washington, no. Carolina, Dallas, no. Rams, Arizona, no. Dallas, no. Seattle, no. Pittsburgh, no. There is no viable. I don't think, now if you guys see one that I'm missing, I think the whole cheap zone for defenses is borderline unplayable here. Maybe the closest thing would be Giants at New Orleans. I mean, at 3,400, really want to play the Giants on the road? No, I'm not playing Vikings. I'm not playing Atlanta. I like Taylor Heineke, and Atlanta's defense is just bad. Let's scroll up here, but, Miami, I don't know. Arizona, no. Detroit, maybe. Let's find out who Chicago's starting. But if it's Fields, we can definitely play Detroit defense. We can play Packers defense. I'm not getting a really cheap one, guys. There are not good cheap defenses this week. It's just not happening. New Orleans, 4,800. Titans, Bills. I think you go all the way up to the Bills. This is crazy. I never pay up for defense, but I think the cheapest one is about this 4K. This 4K, maybe Washington play at Atlanta. I don't like it either. So I'm not liking them. And I think you've got to pay up on defense or just punt it away and take a 0 with Jets. You punt all the way down to 3K, take a 0 and just suck it up. But I think we're going to have to pay up for defense this week a little bit here. We can go with Titans against the Jets. Zach Wilson has been uber bad. He's been the worst. And I think Bears here at Detroit, it could be played. It's not pretty on defense this week. I think you could play the Packers, though, definitely, and the Lions. So it's this 4K to 5K range that we can mess with. Let me go down to the bottom of the range. I hate paying up. So let's just throw in the Packers for now. Packers at home because Pittsburgh's been terrible on offense. I could see going down to the Giants. I hear you, man. It's pretty gross, though. Normally we like that cheap, viable defense, and you could see here, there just aren't any. This is FanDuel, my man, Larry. All right, so we're talking some FanDuel. Now, let's look at some wide receivers. And look who hath risen. Cooper Kupp, the most expensive. Guys, I told you this 2 weeks ago. When Cooper Kupp was like 6,200, I said, enjoy it while you can get him in the 6K range. I promised you he was going to be going up in salary, and now he is the most expensive player on the board. That is bananas. I don't think I could play him up here for 8,600, so it's time to get off the train. We have been core Cooper Kupp since week 1. but now we're going to have to get off the train here. I like the matchup. I like the situation. If I'm playing Stafford, sure. I actually really like Stafford and stacks, but that salary is really brutal. Devonte Adams, sure. Always into Devonte Adams, always the man. Tyreek Hill, sure, great. All these guys are great. I think we can go right back to the Dallas pass catchers after a dud this past evening. So Lamb and Cup very much in play. Let's see if anybody pops as a special value. I'm just going to kind of roll through here and let's see who seems like out of place for the salary level. Devontae Smith, pretty nice spot here, 5,900. I still believe in Devonta. Robbie Anderson, another major faller. Brandon Ayuk. Okay, now we're on to something here. All right, so Brandon Ayuk's cheapness has given me an idea. Let's build a game around Seattle, San Francisco. Always a fun stack. We go back to the guy who hurt us last week, who is now priced down, lower owned because he had a bad game. I'm down with that. Russell Wilson at the quarterback position, right? We go right back to Russ. We've put in Brandon Ayuk, the comeback. We've already got Trey Sermon in the lineup, so it just makes sense. And we can go, I think that Tyler Lockett, he got banged up a little bit. So I want to find out a little bit more about that. But we go right back to my boy DK Metcalf right here. 61K left. So we're building a lineup. We're looking pretty good. Again, negative that we couldn't super punt on defense. How about tight end? Take a look. Ooh, I'd really like to go here with a George Kittle to continue to get more correlation to this game. You can take a look at Tyler Higbee for a little salary savings. It's not even that much salary savings, to be honest, over Kittle. Kittle got the calf issue. I'm not going to worry too much about the calf issue. I think it might be too much correlation with Kittle, but and it does not leave us with enough money to make a reasonable wide receiver play. Let's see if we go down here. Logan Thomas, we could pay down. Tyler Conklin, big week last week. Freiermuth is fine. There are lots of cheap tight ends that we can go with, but I like volume tight ends in these situations. I'm going to go with Logan Thomas, but Higbee's in play as well. And Logan Thomas is going to leave us with 6,500 at the wide receiver position. I'm not going to be able to get more correlation per se. We've got our correlation here with Russ, Metcalf, Ayuk, Sermon. Technically, Deebo Samuel could be used instead of Brandon Ayuk for a more expensive version here. I don't even know where Deebo's priced, but 6,900. I'll take the cheaper guy. And we'll finish out this lineup with Chase Claypool. I think actually there's a little bit of risk with Claypool in the sense that I got to make sure that either Deontay Johnson or somebody will be there to occupy Yair Alexander. So I'm actually going to go here with the final spot over to, I like all these guys. Robert Woods, Marquis Brown in that Baltimore game. Allen Robinson, unplayable. Cortland Sutton. I really like, let's go with Marquis Brown. He's actually been doing really well this year. Rough game last week, but he had all the targets once again, and he had plenty of opportunities. So I think that's the way to go here. Marquis Brown, we built a nice little early lineup. Russell Wilson game stack built around that game, which I love. I think that's a great game to build around this week. We found some bargains at running back. Again, another way to go would be, of course, to drop the 10K Derrick Henry and go with a more balanced approach at running back. I'd still go with Sermon. I think Sermon, just at 5,900, is probably likely to score a touchdown this week. And if we now take a look at our flex and maybe go a different way, like we can get a player. Actually, here's what I like better. Put Devonte Adams in this spot, and I still have money even for Cooper Kupp. Check that out. So what I just learned is the opportunity cost of Derrick Henry on a week like this is really, really high. And so consider what we just changed. We just were able to remove Derrick Henry, replace him and Marquis Brown, and replace that with Cooper Kupp and Devonte Adams. I can also do this a little differently. I can get a super stud at tight end in Travis Kelce and go down in the flex to another potential running back with touchdown upside. None of these guys really fit that bill, so not liking that. Kind of like the other way better. But we can also do a little hybrid version of this where we go George Kittle and still pay up for a decent final spot in the roster. But I kind of like you know what? My favorite of it was still the version with Logan Thomas. You know, having done a few different ones, I still like the Logan Thomas Cooper Kupp version. So I'm going back to it. I know Cooper Kupp is expensive, but this is a pretty fun lineup, I think, for the week. A lot of studs, a lot of stud wide receivers, and we've got a nice little game stack. This is a beautiful lineup, guys. Let's fucking go. It's Tuesday. Things will change. Yeah, no more use check, man. I think that was game circumstantial, but Juszczyk could have another big week. He really could, because if it's still just Trey Sermon, they obviously were a little uncomfortable. What I think is week after week, Trey Sermon will be worked more into that lineup, so they'll do a little bit more, less on the field with Juszczyk. You saw last week, Juszczyk was definitely the running back on passing downs. They did that. They had Trey really just coming in for rushing plays, first and second down, and they brought in Juszczyk on third down, and he did just fine. So there it is. First look, FanDuel lineup, guys. Remember, if you want to smash this season, there's never been a better time to sign up for DFS Army. I'm going to show you something real quick here on DFS Army. There's a little button over here that says free offer, right? And when you click it, because somebody earlier said they can't afford DFS Army, that's bullshit. You can, because you can get a free month by signing up for Super Draft, Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, Monkey Knife Fight, No House. There's all these sites that you're not signed up for already that you could just sign up, make a $50 deposit to one of them, play the deposit, let us know about it. You follow the instructions here, and we will give you a free month of DFS Army. So any new subscribers, you're not subscribed to DFS Army right now, you want to check it out, this is the way to do it. Do it for a free month. You're like, hey, I did a free month. You guys suck. Fuck you. I cancel. Okay. I'm willing to risk it. Willing to take the chance. We think you're going to like it, and we think you're going to stick around. That's why we do this. So check out the free month offer. Get signed up at DFS Army. I will see you guys next week on actually, I'll be back again for a DraftKings First Look lineup. And I will see you, of course, in all of the rest of the content for the week. Good luck, everyone.